Hey guys, Steph Davis here from flipthiswholesaler.net, where I teach you to make more money, flip more houses, and kick more ass. I am here on a beautiful Friday morning with a brand new Q&A Friday video for you guys. My question this week comes from Christy, and Christy writes, "Hi Steph, I'm just getting started as a wholesaler and I heard you recommend in another video that you suggest choosing one area or zip code within my city to focus on and then getting to know it really well. I'm ready to get started, but I'm having a hard time choosing a farm area. Should I go after the gated higher end neighborhoods? It seems like these would be the most desirable. Any advice appreciated. I'm in Cleveland, by the way. Thanks in advance, Christy." All right, so Christy has seen some of my other videos where I recommend that if you're just getting started and you are in a larger metropolitan area, that instead of trying to learn or to study the entire city all at once, that instead you choose one or two areas or zip codes within your city, areas where there is a lot of investor activity, where there are a lot of cash sales from investors, where there are a lot of wholesalers selling deals. Pick one or two of these areas or zip codes and then spend some time getting to know it really, really well. Find out who the buyers are, find out what they're looking for in a deal, what type of properties they're looking for, what prices they're willing to pay for these properties. Do some research on the MLS, or if you don't have access to the MLS, have an agent do it for you. Take a look at the recent cash sales, maybe the last 30 to 60 days of cash sales. Go drive by those properties. Get out in the neighborhood and drive by those recent cash comps, just so you get a better feel for what is going on in the neighborhood. If you spend some time doing this and get to know an area really, really well, it just makes it a lot easier on you as a wholesaler. When you have seller calls that will start to come in, instead of not having any clue whatsoever what you should offer, or maybe they tell you what they want for the property, and instead of not having any clue if that's a good deal or not, if you spend some time doing your market research first, and particularly in one or two areas, it just makes it a lot easier on you, and it will give you a lot more confidence when it comes time for you to start making offers. If you try and focus on your entire city all at once, it can just be very overwhelming. So I know that wasn't even your specific question, Christy. Sorry, I got a little off on a tangent there. But to answer your question as to how you would pick a target area or a farm area, basically you want to go where the action is. You want to go where there is a plethora, where there is a lot of cash investor sales, okay? As a wholesaler, you are selling to cash buyers, okay? Cash investors. So you want to find out where there is a large amount of these type of transactions. One way to find this out is, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, is to go on the MLS or have an agent go on the MLS and do a search for recent cash sales. When I moved over from Tampa to St. Petersburg, even though it's just across the bridge, I had never done any business in St. Pete, so I didn't really know where I wanted to focus, what zip codes I wanted to focus on. So I just went into the MLS. I did a search for the last, I believe I did 60 days of cash sales, and then I sorted it by zip code to see which zip codes had the highest amount of cash sales, and then I just picked the one that was closest to me. It's right in my backyard. So that is one way. You can do it on the MLS. You can go to RIA meetings. When I was just getting started and I was in Tampa, and I finally decided that, this is too overwhelming for me to try and learn the whole city at once. I'm just going to pick one zip code and focus on it. And the way that I chose the zip code in Tampa was that I went to RIA meetings. And there were a bunch of investors that I was talking to saying, hey, we're looking for properties in this particular area. It was a 33619 zip code. So I said, you know what? There's a bunch of buyers. They're looking for deals in this area. That's where I'm going to focus my efforts. So, go to RIA meetings, ask around, find some active buyers and see where they're looking for deals. You can go on the MLS and do the searches, like I said, or have an agent do the searches for you. You can get on other wholesalers' buyers lists. Get on as many active wholesalers' buyers lists as you can. get on their email list, so when they send out deals, you can see where these deals are. If you start to notice a trend and you start to notice that a lot of the wholesalers in your area are all selling deals in one particular neighborhood or zip code, then that's where you want to go. You want to go where the action is. And to answer the last part of your question about whether or not you should target gated communities or higher end neighborhoods, while it's certainly possible to wholesale deals in these type of areas, your pool of buyers is going to be substantially less than if you stick with the blue collar, bread and butter type neighborhoods. Those are going to be the neighborhoods that you want to be in, not war zones, okay? You want to stay away from the true war zones where there are basically bullets whizzing by or entire blocks of houses that are boarded up, but you want to be maybe one step or two steps above that, all right? This is where typically the most investor activity, the most cash sales is going to be, and that's where you want to focus your efforts. One of the biggest mistakes that I see beginners make, and I did the same thing when I was just getting started, is that I chose my farm area. The way I chose my farm area was that I picked somewhere that I personally would want to live. 9 times out of 10, that is not going to be the correct way to choose an area to focus in on, okay? You want to be in those bread and butter, blue collar type of neighborhoods. So, I hope that answered your question and clarified things for you, Christy. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. If anyone else would like to add anything to what I've said, feel free to leave your input below. If you're watching this video on YouTube, I do have comments disabled, but you can go to my blog, flipthiswholesaler.net, and leave your input underneath this video in the comments section. So that is all for today. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.